All right, Tiger, like an old war horse, he didn't just pop up. He was sort of laying down. It took him a little bit, but he is hitting some balls next to son Charlie after a great day in the Pro-Am here at the PNC Championship. But again, it gets underway tomorrow. First of 2 rounds, Peacock, Golf Channel, NBC. And there's Tom Lehman. They were together, certainly on the golf course all the way back to 1997. Do you remember the old Tournament of Champions when Tiger stuffed it in the rain?
I do.
Beat Tom Lehman.
I do, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Lehman a captain, the Ryder Cup in 2006. Tiger on that team that got beat roundly in Ireland. Speaking of Ireland, look who's here. 3 times a major champion. He's in this field with his 18-year-old son, Pádraig, also known as Paddy. That's Pádraig Harrington. Pádraig, great to see you.
Happy to be here, yeah.
Pádraig, how about this? I mean, you competed against Tiger, seeing Tiger out here hitting balls next to Charlie. Kind of nice.
Well, what was actually interesting is I just watching it there. Charlie hit one club 3 times, 3 different shots. Didn't try and hit the same shot over and over. He hit a flop shot, he hit a low shot, and then he hit a kind of full shot with the same club. So quite impressive. Most of the kids would be out there just trying to hit one repetitive shot, which we know isn't really much use for you hitting a repetitive shot in the range. He was mixing it up, so he's a clever little kid as it is already.
Pádraig, you're one of the most thoughtful people in the game of golf, and I look forward to talking to you about a lot of different things. This experience this week, the Ryder Cup, what you're going to do on the championship. But first, since we're here and Tiger's on the screen, I ask you a question that often gets asked to me, and you were better positioned by a long shot to answer this question than me because you played more golf up against Tiger. What is the larger picture in your estimation of what made Tiger so much better than everybody else?
He hit a lot of things, but if I had to pick one, the intensity. Yeah. I don't think he ever left a shot on the golf course. If he made 5, it was the best 5 he could make. If he made double bogey, it was the best double bogey he could make. He was so, just ground out every shot when it wasn't going perfect for him, when it wasn't going right. He left nothing out there. He gave up nothing. Clearly, he had great ability compared to the rest of us. He hit it miles past us. He hit it so far, he used the golf ball that was so soft. Like, he basically handicapped himself like 20 yards because he was so much longer. He wanted that distance control. He wanted that spin control. He probably did a lot. He was clearly the best iron player. Early on, he was the best driver in the game. He was the best iron player. He had distance control. He was always a great chipper. He made himself a good bunker player, and he made himself a good pitcher. And he was a great putter. So he had 6 or 7 elements that can take a player to the top of the world. He had them all. But he also had that streak. He just wanted to win. You always had the impression, and I kind of look at this and say, I think he wanted to be pushed more. I think he would have played in that period, say to the early 2000s. He was so good. I think if there was more people pushing him on a regular basis, we would have even seen a better version. So he went from up until the 2000s. He was swashbuckling, just hit it, found it, great shots, loads of some erratic shots, but loads of fantastic shots. And then he curtailed it all back. Just played simple golf. He knew he was better than everybody else. He didn't have to extend himself. I think you could have seen the best of both worlds. If the one thing with Tiger, you never wanted to poke the bear. Like, I know I came up against him a lot, and I'm told that I'm the only guy who played more than 10 times with Tiger Woods that outscored him when I played with him. So, but I didn't try and poke the bear. I just tried to hang in there. So you don't, to beat somebody like that, you don't go out and try and play like them. You go out there and just play your own game. I know it's a cliche. Hang in there, and if you're hanging in around there at the end, clearly golf is golf. Anything can happen in the last couple of holes, and you can take your chances. But I often feel like he didn't want to get ahead of Tiger too early. if you like Bridgestone, he beat me down the stretch in Bridgestone. I was a killer. Probably hit the greatest shot I've ever seen on 16. But
what was the shot, by the way?
The 2 of us hit in trouble off the tee. We both hacked out. He had about 190 yards.
8 iron.
Yeah, 8 iron.
8 iron. Yeah, I know the shot.
Okay, well then it was 190 yards or something like that. And he hit it on a dime in a gusting wind. Like, the shot was out of this world.
Is that the one where?
Yeah.
A shot you didn't have, Pádraig? Very honestly, you wouldn't have had that in your back.
Had it then, no, definitely not. No chance. Nobody else had it. Nobody had his speed back then. Nobody had that ability to hit shots like that. But it was the fact he was pushed in. You know, you nearly would have just... to beat Tiger, you nearly wanted one shot behind with about 2 or 3 holes and then hit your shot and it'd be too late.
By the way, that's Thorpe right there in the flowered shirt. Jimmy Thorpe, who lives here in Orlando. Funny encounter with Jim yesterday, and they're pretty much nothing but funny encounters with Thorpe. Pádraig, what's your sense about what may be possible for Tiger from here? Very early, obviously. It's just first day back, but you have a sense for what may be ahead?
It all comes down to that intensity. You know, we saw at the Masters. Like, if you watched him in the Masters, he's trying along, he's working hard. But the minute he got to the lead with 5 holes, 6 holes to go, he completely changed person. Like, up to that, if you watch him on 8, 9, 11, he's trying to hit a draw down the hole, he's trying to hit the perfect shot. All of a sudden, he got to a lead with 5 holes to play, and he just, I'm getting this home. He hit a cut off the 14th tee, which he should hit a draw. But no, he was just getting the job done. He knew he had it at that stage. So it really comes... Jack Nicklaus said it. Unless you have butterflies on Thursday morning, you need that little bit of adrenaline, that fear, that excitement. And he's not going to get it until he's in contention. He might have it this week if Charlie gets him in position.
I'm at the scene right here. I mean, this is what this tournament's all about. There's Trevino, there's Woods, they're the kids.
Well, I got to say this. Yeah. My favourite bit this week so far is I was practicing late Monday night, and Lee came over and started practicing behind me. Larry Rinker, the club pro here, went over. They started talking golf. I'm hitting shots like 15 yards away from them. All I'm doing is listening to what Lee Trevino was saying. And I know everybody's going to come, people are going to come here and yes, you want to watch Charlie, you want to watch Tiger, but you want to watch golf. Go watch Lee Trevino. He's hitting 40-yard pitches that are like one-stop spin. And you know, it's the sheer ball striking and talent. And it's like I'd send my kid to watch Lee Trevino because that's something you can't get. You don't get it on a video. You have to see it in person. And he's 83 years of age.
Lost a lot of weight. He looks great.
I think, and I'm going to compliment you because you've given us so much in the last couple of years on social media. Trevino, similarly, these bootleg videos of him talking golf are popping up. And there you get some insight into his genius. I mean, one of them recently was him talking about the movie Good Will Hunting, where the scene was Will Hunting talking about he couldn't do anything with a piano, but you took numbers up there, and he goes, and this is Will Hunting, played by Matt Damon, said, I could just play. And Lee Trevino then says, but when it comes to hitting golf shots, and he looks at his hands, he goes, I could just play. Mm-hmm. Now, when I look at your videos, and thank you for all these videos that you've been putting out over the last, they're fun, by the way, they're very fun, but they're also very informative. And now as we look at Tiger and Charlie there, this week is about you and your son, Pádraig. Kids are not historically great at receiving golf advice from their parents. And you have a lot to say. So I'm just wondering, how does he listen to you about your golf swing comment?
I have tried to get at this tournament that we turn up and everybody gets allocated somebody else's son to coach.
There you go. That's a great call.
And if you went out there, you will see that, especially if it's a professional caddy, my caddy this week is spending all his time with my son because my son is better able to take advice. So if I want to tell my son something, I have to go to my caddy and say, push the ball forward. And then it's interpreted. Because I think the kids, obviously, in their parents, they see it's kind of black and white, right? You know. So if I tell him to do something, he wants an instant fix in that sense. And yet, if it was to do with something else, my kids say, I do a Tom House drills, right? So simple Tom House shoulder drill is hold your elbows above your shoulders for 5 minutes. Like my kids don't have the will to go and practice their golf, as they say.
Tom House, by the way, was a famous coach who worked in baseball.
He's the #1 throwing coach. He coaches all your quarterbacks now in baseball.
Yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, this is standard drill, elbows up. And like my kids, 18 and 14, were having a go in the kitchen. After 45 minutes, I had to make them call it a draw. So they have the work ethic from me, but from golf it scares them because they've seen how much I've worked at my golf, and they realise it's just not something they're going to do.
2 professionals right here. So you're in Charlie's shoes. You're a teenage kid, young kid. He's 12. knowing what you know now, you'd want to know what from Lee Trevino, if you were that age?
Well, honestly, you soak up their intensity. You just, when I grew up, you'd go to hang out in the shop and listen to golf professionals talk about the game. They'd talk about Lee Trevino's grip, or they might talk about Gabe Brewer's backswing or Miller Barber's backswing. And I think that just it grows the love that you have for the game. Just being around the game. Your dad was a good player, right? Was he?
Pretty good. Yeah. I'm really competitive.
Right.
Really good at winning prizes.
Do you remember, or do you have fond memories of a particular round of golf or a tip that your father gave you?
God, you want to see, he couldn't coach, no. But he coached by example. I'm cut out of the same cloth. He could, the ugliest golfer ever, and yet he'd make par at the hole. And you go, how did that happen? And he'd shoot scores, and he just got the job done. I suppose the one tip he did give me, and it stuck with me, he said, at whatever age, maybe I was 13, 12 years of age probably, he said, from 150 yards, you have to get down in 3 shots. I don't care how you do it. Doesn't matter if you miss the green, doesn't matter if you hit on the green, you've got 3 shots. Get it done in 3 shots from 150. And obviously, as you get better, maybe for the younger kid, it could be 100 yards. Maybe for an older kid, that obviously starts extending out. But it got me away from thinking, I must hit it on the green, I must do this. It doesn't matter where you hit it, get it in the hole and enjoy doing it. Look, the only thing a kid has to do at this game, especially a young kid pre-puberty, because they haven't changed at this, is just have a love for the game, a complete love. And going back to it, I would say things like, when you bring your kid to the golf course, the rules are a problem, so don't bring them somewhere where you have to keep telling them to be quiet, to do this, do that. Make sure you go when it's quiet, so if they decide to roll around in the bunker, if it's quiet, let them roll around the bunker. They have to always remember that when they went to the course, it was fun. So when they finished around the golf, don't rush home. Go and have a Coke. Just go to the bar, sit down, and there's a Coke. We're going to sit there and enjoy this experience. Because as you get older, you realise there's so many things you did as a kid. So like an Irish thing for us, we have 99 ice creams at home, with Coke. I could have a whipped cone now, and I like it, but really what I'm doing is enjoying the experience, the thrill I had when I was a kid. So you just have to make sure if you're bringing your kid to a golf course, that they think about them when they get to 30. Will they look back at that day at the golf course? Oh, I remember that. That was fun. I was allowed to get in and look for the golf ball, root it out. I didn't have to move on. I wasn't rushed. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't forced to hit shots. I was allowed to wander. And if they love it, they will play golf for the rest of their life. And it could be 90 years. Remember, if your kid is playing at 10, he's likely to be playing when he's 100 now.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Pádraig, this is great. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you a little bit on the PGA Tour Champions, I'm guessing, in 2022.
I'm in a strange place with my golf. I physically hit it further and better than I've ever hit it. But I'm completely torn between my absolute best 100% shot and consistent. So I could go on the range now and I could take out 5-iron and I can hit it 6,000 spin rate, 220 yards, and it's just the most glorious looking shot. But I'd be probably better off hitting a little less, more consistent shot in the golf course. It's just I led strokes gained over 200 yards in the PGA Tour in 2021.
Did you?
Yep. So I was told by the stats guys, absolutely no use. did me
well,
no
you didn't finish 4th in the PGA.
I know, but yeah, and to be honest, that was the type of golf course that it did help on. But, when I kind of weakened my strengths to strengthen the things that I thought I needed. I thought I needed to hit it longer. I thought I needed to, be a better ball striker. You hit it higher. But in the end of the day, ultimately, you need consistency. And to be mentally consistent, you can't be always in that.
But don't you think TrackMan kind of does that? It has you search for and swing for the ideal.
I'm not my caddy won't allow me to have TrackMan once the tournament starts, because the minute I hit, okay, this sums me up. You could turn around there and I could hit the most perfect golf shot, right? Absolute perfect swing, perfect flight. I would try and hit the next one better. And that's the problem. TrackMan has you going. If you swung a 5-iron, if I turn around and swung a 5-iron, 105 mile an hour, beautiful, powerful, beautiful strike, be going, I wonder, can I swing at 106? Whereas if it wasn't there in front of me, I'd just go.
So true. You still love it like a kid. You always will. One of my cherished memories as a reporter, 25 years now with the golf team, was coming to your house a couple of years ago outside of Dublin, and you took me inside the padded room, which is where you have every golf gadget imaginable. And then we went out back, and you were hitting 5 irons around the telephone pole. That was a lot of fun for me. I enjoyed that. But thank you for coming out.
That's only a 7-iron now to that time. I swear to you, that's how much speed, well, not just speed, but the way the game has changed, the ball, everything, the power. But I will say, and this is very interesting for parents who are looking on, I have an indoor golf facility and an outdoor golf facility. My kids have no interest in using that. When you have something, kids aren't that interested. It's when it's that bit unattainable that they tend to want it more. So, like, we have a games room. And my kids would never walk into that games room, pool, table tennis. But when their friends arrive, that's all they want. So when you have, if you're bringing up a kid, I would think bringing them somewhere and making it, this is somewhere special to go, rather than making it too easy.
That guy out there in the shorts, standing in the middle, Gavin, not surprisingly, Trevino once famously said, a dog don't hunt unless it's hungry. Right? 82 years young. He looks great. This is something special right here. 2 of the best to ever do it are out there chopping it up. And that's Daniel with the ponytail and the light-colored shirt, the white hat. And there is Charlie. Jim Thorpe is in the back in the flowered shirt. And we've been privileged to sit alongside one of the brightest minds in the game, Pádraig Harrington. Have a fantastic weekend, a great holiday, Pádraig. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Be great. Pádraig Harrington. And we will come back on this day when Tiger made his first steps on the way back alongside Charlie, and he's still standing strong.
So